Welcome to Sci-Fi Vault of Tales. Like the video and subscribe to journey further.
The Orion 7 trade station hummed with chaotic energy, its steel corridors vibrating under a meteor storm's relentless barrage. Shimmering fragments streaked across the void, slamming into the station's reinforced hull, each impact flashing like a spark in the dark. Jake Iron Callahan, a rugged Texas engineer with a knack for fixing anything, navigated the crowded central hub. His mission was simple: repair the station's failing reactor, grab a cold beer at the alien bar, and head back to Earth. But trouble had a way of finding him. Inside the nebula dive, a bar pulsing with neon and the chatter of a dozen species, Jake leaned against the counter, eyeing a glowing red drink in a patron's hand. "That looks like it could power a starship," he said, his drawl cutting through the noise. The room froze. A towering Zetharian warrior, Korath, spun toward him, his crimson skin glowing like embers, eyes blazing like twin lasers. The crowd parted, revealing Queen Vera at the bar's center, her ruby-hued skin shimmering under the lights, black hair flowing like a dark nebula, her violet eyes locked onto Jake, sharp with curiosity and a hint of disdain. "You dare speak of the Queen's drink, Earth scum?" Korath's voice boomed, his translator chip rendering the words with a metallic edge. He stood 9 feet tall, muscles rippling under ceremonial armor, gripping a plasma longsword that hummed with lethal energy. Jake raised his hands, his pulse quickening. "Whoa, big guy, just admiring the glow. No need to get heated." But Korath stepped closer, his blade casting an eerie light across the steel floor. Vera's voice sliced through the tension, cool and commanding. "Korath defends my honor, human. You've broken our code by addressing me directly." Behind her, 4 female guards, Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn, stood poised, their liquid alloy armor glinting faintly. They weren't just escorts. Their stances screamed combat training, eyes tracking Jake like hawks. He swallowed hard, gripping the energy rifle slung across his back. "Look, ma'am, I'm just here to fix your reactor. Can we skip the swordplay?" Vera's lips curved into a cold smile, her ring flashing as she gestured. "The challenge is set. Defeat Korath, or forfeit your life." The crowd murmured, forming a circle as meteors thundered outside. Jake cursed under his breath, switching his rifle to stun mode. "Fine, let's dance." Korath charged, his plasma blade slicing the air with a high-pitched whine. Jake dove left, the floor sparking where the sword struck. He fired a burst of energy bolts, each one sizzling past Korath's armor. The Zytherian was strong but slow, relying on brute force. Jake, trained in asteroid belt skirmishes, used his agility, dodging and weaving through the bar's tight space. Glasses shattered, aliens shouted, and Vera watched, her expression unreadable. After minutes of tense combat, Korath overreached, his blade lodging in a steel beam. Jake seized the moment, firing a precise shot into the armor's power core. Korath collapsed, smoke rising from his chest, eyes wide with shock. The crowd gasped. Jake, breathing hard, turned to Vera. "We done here? I've got a reactor to fix." Vera's face paled, her violet eyes flickering with uncertainty. She knelt slowly, her guards following suit. An elder Zytherian stepped forward, his voice grave. "By our ancient laws, you are now the Queen's protector, human. She and her guards belong to you." Jake's jaw dropped. "Belong? I'm a wrench-turner, not a king." What had he just stumbled into? The Orion 7 trade station's central hub buzzed with tension, the meteor storm's distant thumps echoing through the steel walls. Jake Callahan stood in the wreckage of the nebula dive, his energy rifle still warm from the fight with Korath. Queen Vera knelt before him, her ruby skin catching the neon glow, her 4 guards, Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn, mirroring her pose. The elder Zytherian's words hung heavy in the air. Jake was now their protector, bound by ancient laws. He shook his head, his Texas drawl sharp with disbelief. "This is nuts. I'm a grease monkey, not some alien lord. Can't we just call it a day?" Vera rose, her violet eyes narrowing, her voice like a blade. "You defeated Korath in fair combat, human. Our code is clear. To reject us is to condemn us to dishonor, a fate worse than death. Her guards stood, their liquid alloy, armor shimmering, each woman's gaze fixed on Jake with a mix of respect and wariness. Zara, the tallest, stepped closer, her tone calm but firm. Refusal would leave us vulnerable to enemies, like Lord Zykar, who covets the Queen's power. Jake rubbed his neck, his mind racing. Zykar? Who's this guy and why's he got a grudge? Before Vera could answer, an alarm blared through the station, red lights flashing. Jake's wristcom buzzed, displaying a critical alert from his ship, the Starhammer, docked in Bay 12. "Someone's messed with my ride," he muttered, slinging his rifle over his shoulder. "Stay here. I'll check it out." Vera's voice stopped him cold. "We go with you, Protector. Our fates are now tied." Jake groaned but didn't argue, sensing the weight of her words. The group moved through Orion 7's crowded corridors. Dodging traitors and drones, the meteor storm's glow visible through massive viewports. At the docking bay, Jake found the Starhammer's access panel pried open, wires sparking from a sabotaged fuel line. "Son of a gun," he cursed, kneeling to inspect the damage. "This'll take days to fix. We're stuck." Kalia, one of Vera's guards with a tech-savvy air, crouched beside him, her six-fingered hand tracing the wires. "Amateur work. I can help reroute the power, but we'll need parts." Jake raised an eyebrow, impressed. "You know Earth." "Tech?" Kalia's lips twitched, almost a smile. "I study more than just swords, human." Her confidence eased the tension, but Jake's gut told him trouble was closing in. Vera spoke, her tone low, urgent. "This sabotage is Zykar's doing. He seeks the flame of Orion, an artifact I guard." She touched a pendant at her throat, its faint purple glow pulsing faintly. "It holds the wisdom of our ancestors, power beyond your understanding." Jake frowned, catching a flicker of fear in her eyes, a crack in her regal facade. "Power like what? And why's this Zykar so desperate to get it?" Before she could answer, Zara's comm device chirped, intercepting a coded Zetherian transmission. Her face hardened. "Zykar's spies are already here, watching us." Jake glanced at the shadowed docking bay, his hand tightening on his rifle. "Guess we're not staying for happy hour. I know a guy who can help." Mac's repair shop, a grimy haven in Orion 7's underbelly, was their next stop. But what was the flame of Orion, and why was it worth sabotaging a ship and hunting? "A queen?" The meteor storm battered Orion 7 trade station, its steel walls groaning under the onslaught of glowing debris. Jake Callahan led Queen Vera and her 4 guards, Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn, through the station's underbelly to Mac's repair shop, a cluttered maze of salvaged tech and flickering holoscreens. The air smelled of burnt circuits and alien spices, a gritty haven from Zykar's spies. Jake's boots clanged on the metal floor as he pushed open the shop's blast door, his energy rifle slung low. "Mac's an old buddy," he said, his Texas drawl steady despite the tension. "He'll keep us off the radar." Mac, a grizzled ex-pilot with a cybernetic eye, greeted them with a smirk. "Jake, you always drag trouble my way." His gaze swept over Vera's regal figure and her guard's shimmering armor. "Royal?" "Trouble, too." Vera stepped forward, her ruby skin catching the dim light, her voice crisp. "We require sanctuary, human. Zykar's forces are closing in." Mac nodded, pointing to a hidden chamber behind a stack of crates. "Got just the place. But it ain't a palace." Inside the chamber, a circular platform glowed faintly, etched with Zetherian runes. Vera's pendant pulsed brighter, its purple light dancing across the walls. "The flame of Orion demands the binding flame ritual," she declared, her violet eyes locking onto Jake. "It will seal our bond as protector and protected." Jake raised an eyebrow, skeptical. "A ritual? Lady, I'm here to fix ships, not play space shaman." Zara, her tone sharp but patient, cut in. "It's not optional, Callahan. The flame connects us, strengthens us against Zykar." Jake shrugged, stepping onto the platform with Vera and her guards. The air hummed as Vera placed the flame of Orion, a pulsing crystal, on a central pedestal. Light erupted, wrapping them in a warm, violet glow. Jake's skin tingled, his mind flooded with flashes of emotion. Vera's fierce pride, Kalia's sharp curiosity, Mira's quiet compassion, Taryn's steely resolve, and Zara's calculating focus. He staggered, overwhelmed, their thoughts weaving into his like a neural uplink. "What the hell is this?" he gasped, steadying himself against a crate. Kalia, her six-fingered hand brushing his arm, spoke softly. "The flame binds us, Jake. It's not just a relic. It rewrites us. Makes us compatible." Her words hung heavy, hinting at changes beyond the mental link. Mira added, her voice gentle, "Our biology is shifting, aligning with yours. The flame prepares us for a new future." Jake's jaw tightened, his mind racing. "Compatible? You mean like kids? That's a hard pass." Vera's gaze softened, a rare crack in her regal mask. "Not force, protector. Choice. The flame only amplifies what exists." The light faded, but the connection lingered, their emotions a faint hum in Jake's mind. He felt their trust, their strength, and something deeper, stirring his own resolve. Taryn, her eyes fierce, broke the moment. "We're stronger now, but Zykar's spies are close." Mac's comm buzzed, his face grim as he checked a holo feed. "Got movement in the lower docks. Armed Zitherians, heading this way." Jake gripped his rifle, the flame's glow still warm in his chest. "Guess Zykar doesn't like sharing. What's he know about this crystal that you're not telling me?" The Orion 7 trade station thrummed with the dull roar of machinery, its underbelly a labyrinth of flickering lights and rusted conduits. Jake Callahan crouched in Mac's repair shop, the air thick with the scent of ozone and alien fuel. The flame of Orion, a pulsing crystal on a nearby workbench, cast a faint purple glow across the cluttered space. Queen Vera stood rigid, her ruby skin shimmering under the hollow screens, her violet eyes scanning Jake, Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn. The binding flame ritual had linked them, a strange hum of their emotions buzzing in Jake's mind. Zykar's spies were closing in, and the sabotage Starhammer wasn't going anywhere fast. "We need to get off this rock before Zykar's goons find us," Jake said, his Texas drawl cutting through the tension. He wiped sweat from his brow, eyeing the wrecked fuel line on a hollow schematic of his ship. "Any ideas, folks?" Kalia, the tech-savvy guard with a knack for systems, knelt beside him, her six-fingered hands deftly sorting through a pile of salvaged parts. "Your ship's a relic, Callahan, but I can bypass the damaged relays. We'll need a power converter, though." Her voice held a teasing edge, her eyes glinting with amusement. Jake grinned, despite the stakes. "Relic?" "The Starhammers. A classic like a '69 Mustang. Show some respect." Kalia chuckled, her crimson fingers brushing his as she handed him a tool. A jolt of warmth hit him, sharper than it should have been, the flame's influence amplifying every touch. He shook it off, focusing on the schematic. "All right, where do we get this converter? And what's the deal with Zykar wanting this?" "Crystal's so bad." Vera stepped forward, her pendant glowing brighter, her tone grave. "The flame of Orion holds our people's knowledge, centuries of wisdom stored in its matrix. It can enhance strength, intellect, even life itself." Her voice wavered, betraying a flicker of fear. "Zykar seeks to wield it, to dominate our kind and beyond." Jake frowned, catching the unspoken weight in her words. "Beyond? You mean he's got bigger plans than just ruling Orion 7? Zara, the tactical guard, answered, her voice steady but urgent. "Zykar controls a fleet, hidden, in the asteroid belt. The flame could power weapons, ships, even mines." Her liquid alloy armor shimmered as she adjusted her stance, ready for a fight. "He'll kill to get it." Jake's jaw tightened, the hum of the flame in his chest growing stronger, like a second heartbeat. He felt Vera's resolve, Zara's focus, and Kalia's curiosity all tangled with his own determination. Mac, tinkering at a nearby console, looked up, his cybernetic eye whirring. "I can source a converter from the black market, but it'll cost you. And Zykar's got the docks locked down tight." He pulled up a holofeed showing armed Zitherians patrolling the lower levels, their plasma rifles glowing red. Jake cursed, under his breath, running a hand through his dark hair. "Great. So we're dodging spies, fixing a ship, and playing keep-away with a magic rock." Mira, the quiet medic with a gentle air, spoke up, her voice soft but firm. The flame is more than a relic, Jake. It chose you as protector, just as it chose us. Her words stirred something in him, a mix of duty and unease. Taryn, the fierce combat specialist, added, "We fight together now. The flame binds us, makes us stronger." Her eyes locked on his, a spark of loyalty that felt too intense, too real. Jake nodded, his mind racing. "Okay, team, let's move. Kalia, you and I hit the star hammer. Mac, get that converter. The rest of you, keep watch." As they split up, a low rumble shook the shop, dust falling from the ceiling. The hollow feed flickered, showing a blast in the lower docks, smoke rising. From a nearby hangar, Zara's comm chirped, her face hardening. "Zykar's men, they're here." Jake gripped his rifle, the flame's glow pulsing faster. What did Zykar know about the flame that Vera wasn't saying, and how close were his forces to finding them? The Orion 7 trade station's underbelly pulsed with the grind of machinery, its dim corridors lit by flickering holopanels and the occasional flare of the meteor storm outside. Jake Callahan crouched behind a stack of crates in Mac's repair shop, his energy rifle humming softly, the flame of Orion's purple glow casting eerie shadows. Queen Vera stood nearby, her ruby skin tense, her pendant pulsing in rhythm with her quickened breath. Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn fanned out, their liquid alloy armor glinting as they scanned for threats. The shop's hollow feed had just shown a blast in the lower docks, and Zara's comm confirmed Zykar's forces were closing in fast. "Stay sharp, folks," Jake whispered, his Texas drawl steady despite the adrenaline surging through him. "If Zykar's goons are here, they're not just sightseeing." Zara, her tactical mind razor-focused, checked her wrist scanner, her voice low. 3 squads, armed with plasma rifles, moving in from the east corridor. "We've got minutes." Kalia, tinkering with a salvaged power cell, looked up, her crimson fingers deft. "We can't fix the Starhammer if we're fighting. We need to buy time." Before Jake could respond, the shop's blast door shuddered, a plasma bolt scorching its surface. "Guess time's up," he muttered, raising his rifle. The door exploded inward, and 6 Zytherian mercenaries stormed in, their red skin glowing under black combat gear, rifles blazing. Jake dove behind a workbench, returning fire, his energy bolt sizzling through the smoky air. Zara and Taryn moved like a well-oiled machine, their blades flashing as they flanked the attackers, cutting down 2 with precise strikes. "Cover the queen!" Taryn shouted, her voice fierce as she parried a mercenary's plasma blade. Vera, clutching the flame, ducked behind a crate, her violet eyes wide but resolute. Mira, the medic, darted forward, dragging a wounded Mac to safety, her hands steady as she sealed a burn on his arm with a nanopatch. "Stay down, Mac," she urged, her voice calm despite the chaos. Jake fired another burst, dropping a mercenary, but more poured through the breached door. Kalia, improvising, hurled a rigged power cell at the attackers. It detonated in a flash of blue light, scattering the mercenaries and buying the group a moment to regroup. "Nice throw," Jake called, impressed. Kalia grinned, her eyes sparking with mischief. "Told you I'm more than swords, Callahan." The moment of levity vanished as a new figure appeared in the doorway, a towering Zytherian in ornate armor, his eyes glowing like molten lava. "Surrender the flame or perish," he snarled, his translator chip rendering his voice cold and mechanical. "That's gotta be Zykar's right-hand man," Jake said, his gut tightening. He glanced at Vera, who clutched the crystal tighter, her face pale. "We need to move now." Zara pointed to a service hatch in the floor. "That leads to the lower docks. We can lose them there." But before they could act, the leader raised a device, and a pulse of energy surged through the shop, short-circuiting their weapons. Jake's rifle fizzed out, useless, and he cursed, grabbing a wrench as a makeshift club. The mercenaries regrouped, seizing the moment. In a blur, they grabbed Vera, Mira, and Taryn, dragging them toward a hovering skiff outside the shop. "Jake!" Vera cried, struggling as the flame's glow flared wildly. Zara and Kalia lunged forward, but a second pulse knocked them back. Jake charged, swinging the wrench, but a mercenary's stun baton caught him in the ribs, sending him sprawling. The skiff's engines roared, and it vanished into the station's depths with Vera, Mira, and Taryn aboard. Jake staggered to his feet, pain shooting through his side. The flames hum in his mind, now a frantic buzz. Zara, her armor scorched, helped Kalia up, her voice grim. "They're taking them to Zykar's warship. We have to follow." Mac, clutching his patched arm, pointed to a hollow screen showing a battered ship in a hidden hangar. "Take the Thunderbolt. It's old, but it'll fly. Barely." Jake clenched his fists, the flames connection pulsing with Vera's fear and defiance. "We're getting them back. Gear up." But what did Zykar want with the flame? And what was he planning to do with Vera? The Orion 7 trade station's hidden hangar smelled of rust and rocket fuel, its shadows flickering under the meteor storm's distant flashes. Jake Callahan stood beside the Thunderbolt, a battered military surplus ship that looked like it belonged. In a scrapyard, its hull was scarred, but its engines hummed with potential. Zara and Kalia, the only two of Queen Vera's guards left with him, moved with purpose, their liquid alloy armor glinting as they loaded gear. The flame of Orion, secured in a padded case on Zara's belt, pulsed with a faint purple glow, its energy buzzing in Jake's mind, a constant reminder of Vera, Mira, and Taryn. "Now captives on Lord Zykar's warship. We've got one shot at this," Jake said, his Texas drawl firm as he checked the Thunderbolt's controls. "Zykar's got our people, and that crystal's making my head feel like a comm channel on overdrive." Zara, her tactical mind sharp, studied a hollow map of Zykar's warship, her crimson fingers tracing its layout. The ship's cloaking system has a weak point, a maintenance port near the aft reactors. We can slip in there undetected. Her violet eyes met Jake's, steady but intense. But it's tight. One wrong move, and we're space dust. Kalia, elbow deep in the Thunderbolt's wiring, snorted, her voice laced with humor. "Your ship's a dinosaur, Callahan, but I've boosted the thrusters. Might even outrun Zykar's patrols." She tossed him a plasma coil, her six-fingered hand brushing his, sending a spark of warmth through him. The flame's influence amplified every touch, making Jake's pulse race. He shook it off, focusing on the task. "Nice work, Kalia. Let's make this bucket fly." Mac, nursing his patched arm, hobbled over with a crate of salvaged tech. "Got you some plasma grenades and a couple of pulse rifles," he said, his cybernetic eye whirring as he scanned the hangar. "Zykar's warship is a fortress, Jake. Heavy shields, automated turrets, and a crew that'd rather die than fail him." Jake nodded, strapping a rifle to his back. "Good thing I'm stubborn. We're getting our team back." Zara adjusted the flame's case, its glow flaring brighter as it neared Jake. "The flame senses you," she said, her tone low, almost reverent. "It's why you feel us, why we feel you. It's preparing us for something bigger." Jake frowned, the hum of Vera's fear and Taryn's defiance pulsing in his mind. "Bigger, like what? This thing's already turned my life into a sci-fi flick." Kalia, wiping grease from her hands, chimed in, her eyes glinting with curiosity. "The flame's rewriting our biology, Jake. It's not just mental. We're becoming compatible with you." Her words hung heavy, the implication clear. Jake rubbed his neck, uneasy. "Compatible? Like kids? I signed up to fix reactors, not start an alien family." Zara's lips twitched, a rare hint of amusement. "The flame doesn't force bonds, Protector. It strengthens what's already there." Before Jake could dig deeper, Mac's hollow screen flickered, showing a grainy feed from a smuggled drone. Vera, Mira, and Taryn were in a holding cell on Zykar's warship, their armor stripped, the flame glowing fiercely in Vera's hands. Her voice crackled through the feed, strained but defiant. "Zykar, you'll never control it." A shadowed figure, Zykar, loomed over her, his voice a low growl. "The flame will power my empire, Queen, or it will break you." The feed cut to static, followed by a piercing scream, Vera's. Jake's fists clenched, the flame's energy surging through him, sharpening his resolve. "That's our cue. Kalia, fire up the Thunderbolt. Zara, plot our approach." Kalia nodded, diving back into the controls, while Zara uploaded the warship's schematics. Mac clapped Jake's shoulder, his face grim. "You're walking into a meat grinder, kid. Watch your back." As the Thunderbolt's engines roared to life, Jake felt the flames hum intensify, Vera's scream echoing in his mind. What was Zykar doing to her, and what power did the flame hold that could break? A queen? The Thunderbolt sliced through the void, its patched-up hull barely holding together as it approached Lord Zykar's cloaked warship, a massive fortress of black alloy hidden in Orion 7's asteroid belt. Jake Callahan gripped the pilot's controls, his knuckles white, the flame of Orion's hum pulsing in his chest like a second heartbeat. Zara sat beside him, her crimson fingers flying over the nav console, guiding them toward the warship's weak point. Kalia, strapped into the engineering station, monitored the ship's strained systems, her voice sharp with focus. "Engines are holding, Jake, but this rust bucket's begging for a break. Keep her steady, Kalia," Jake replied, his Texas drawl cutting through the tension. "We're not here for a joyride." The warship loomed ahead, its cloaking field flickering under the meteor storm's interference. Zara's violet eyes narrowed, her tactical mind locked in. Maintenance ports open, just like I said. 30 seconds to breach. Her liquid alloy armor shimmered as she prepped a pulse rifle, the flames case on her belt glowing brighter, as if sensing the danger. The Thunderbolt docked with a jarring thud, latching onto the warship's port. Jake led the way, rifle raised, into a dimly lit corridor pulsing with red light, the air heavy with the buzz of plasma conduits. "Stay tight, team," he whispered, feeling Vera's fear and Taryn's defiance through the flame's link. Kalia hacked a security panel, her six-fingered hands a blur, disabling a set of laser traps. "Child's play," she muttered, grinning at Jake. "Your Earth tech could learn a thing or two." He shot her a smirk, the flame's warmth amplifying their camaraderie. Zara took point, her movements precise, guiding them through service tunnels lined with glowing pipes. The warship's hum vibrated through the walls, a reminder of its lethal power. They reached a junction, where a hollow feed showed Vera, Mira, and Taryn in a glowing energy cell, the flame of Orion blazing in Vera's hands. Jake's gut twisted, her exhaustion clear even through the grainy image. "Hang on, we're coming," he murmured, the flame's connection urging him forward. A squad of Zetherian guards rounded the corner, their plasma rifles spitting red bolts. Jake dove behind a conduit, returning fire, his shots crackling against their armor. Zara and Kalia fought with deadly precision, Zara's blade slicing through one guard's weapon, Kalia's improvised EMP grenade frying another's systems. "Nice teamwork," Jake called, his voice steady despite the chaos. But the fight drew attention, and alarms wailed, red lights flooding the corridor. The trio pushed forward, reaching the detention bay, only to find Lord Zykar waiting, his towering frame clad in ornate black armor, his eyes glowing like molten lava. "You dare invade my ship, human," he snarled, his translator chip cold and menacing. He raised a clawed hand, the flame in Vera's cell flaring in response. "The flame will fuel my empire, starting with Orion 7's destruction." Jake's blood ran cold, his rifle aimed at Zykar's chest. "Let them go, or you're eating plasma." Zykar laughed, drawing a curved plasma sword that hummed with lethal energy. "You're no protector, just a fool playing hero." He gestured, and the energy cell's barrier dropped, revealing Vera, Mira, and Taryn, their armor gone, faces defiant but worn. Vera clutched the flame, its light pulsing wildly. "Jake, he wants to weaponize it," she shouted, her voice hoarse. Zykar lunged, his blade aimed at Jake's heart. Jake dodged, the sword scorching the wall behind him. "Zykar, let's settle this. One-on-one," he challenged, his voice bold, drawing on his asteroid belt combat training. Zara and Kalia moved to free the others, but Zykar's guards closed in, blocking their path. Jake parried a strike, his pulse racing, the flame's energy sharpening his reflexes. A glancing blow caught his shoulder, pain searing through him, but he held his ground, his eyes locked on Zykar's. As the duel intensified, the flame's glow surged, flooding Jake's mind with Vera's strength and Mira's calm. What was Zykar's superweapon, and how could the flame power something so devastating? The detention bay of Lord Zykar's warship pulsed with red light, its walls trembling as alarms screamed through the corridors. Jake Callahan faced Zykar in a deadly duel, their plasma swords clashing in showers of sparks, the flame of Orion's glow blazing from Queen Vera's hands in the open energy cell nearby. Zara and Kalia fought off Zykar's guards, their liquid alloy armor flashing as they carved a path to Vera, Mira, and Terran. The warship's core hummed ominously, a reminder of Zykar's plan to weaponize the flame. Jake's shoulder burned from a fresh wound, but the flame's energy surged through him, sharpening his senses like a neural boost. "Give it up, Zykar," Jake shouted, his Texas drawl cutting through the chaos. He parried a vicious strike, his rifle discarded, now relying on a borrowed plasma blade. Zykar's molten eyes gleamed, his voice a low growl through the translator chip. "The flame is mine, human. It'll power a weapon to burn Orion 7 to ash." Jake's heart pounded, the flame's connection flooding him with Vera's defiance and Terran's ferocity. He ducked a swipe, feeling their strength fuel his own. Zara, her blade. A blur took down a guard, her voice sharp. "Jake, we've got them. Move!" Kalia, hacking a control panel, freed Vera, Mira, and Terran from the cell, the flame's light flaring as Vera stumbled forward, clutching it tightly. Mira supported Terran, whose arm bled from a fresh cut, her face set in grim determination. "We need to reach the Thunderbolt," Vera urged, her violet eyes meeting Jake's, a spark of trust cutting through her exhaustion. Zykar roared, lunging at Jake with renewed fury, his plasma sword slicing the air. Jake rolled aside, the blade scorching the floor, and countered with a swift strike to Zykar's arm, targeting the armor's power core. The flame's energy pulsed in his mind, guiding his movements like a sixth sense. He saw an opening, Zykar's, stance faltering, and drove his blade into the warship's control console behind him. Sparks erupted, and the ship's systems screeched, lights flickering as the core destabilized. "Time to go!" Jake yelled, grabbing Vera's arm as the group sprinted for the service tunnels. The warship shook, metal groaning as explosions rocked the lower decks. Zara led the way, her tactical instincts navigating the maze of glowing conduits. Kalia tossed a plasma grenade behind them, collapsing a corridor to slow the pursuing guards. Terran, despite her injury, kept pace, her blade ready, while Mira patched her wound on the move, her hands steady under pressure. The flame, now in Vera's hands, blazed brighter, its light bathing the group in a violet glow. As they reached the Thunderbolt's docking port, the crystal erupted in a wave of energy, flooding their minds with a shared awareness. Jake felt Vera's relief, Mira's focus, Terran's grit, Zara's resolve, and Kalia's quick wit, all weaving into his own determination. "What the hell was that?" he gasped, steadying himself against the ship's hatch. Vera, clutching the flame, her voice hoarse but firm, answered, "The bond is complete. The flame unites us, Protector." Her ruby skin glistened with sweat, her eyes holding a mix of awe and vulnerability. Terran, gripping her blade, added, "It's more than a relic, Jake. It's alive, and it chose us." The ship shuddered again, a distant explosion signaling the warship's collapse. Kalia dove into the pilot's seat, her fingers flying over the controls. "Engines online, but this heap's barely holding," she called, her tone half joking, half urgent. Jake strapped in, helping Mira secure Terran, while Zara sealed the hatch. The Thunderbolt roared free, weaving through the warship's debris as it exploded in a blinding flash, lighting up the asteroid belt. Vera sat beside Jake, the flame pulsing in her lap, its energy a steady hum in their shared connection. As the Thunderbolt raced toward open space, Jake caught Vera's gaze, her exhaustion masking something deeper, fear, or maybe hope. The B. Flame's light flickered, sending a faint signal, a rhythmic pulse that felt like a call to somewhere unknown. "What's it doing now?" Jake asked, his voice low, the hum in his mind growing stronger. Vera's eyes widened, her hand tightening on the crystal. Where was the flame guiding them, and what new threat awaited beyond the wreckage? The Thunderbolt streaked through the void, its patched-up engines humming as it left the wreckage of Zykar's warship behind. Jake Callahan sat at the controls, his eyes fixed on the starfield, the flame of Orion's purple glow pulsing softly. from Queen Vera's lap. The crystal's energy thrummed in his mind, linking him to Vera, Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn, their emotions a steady current. Relief, determination, and something deeper, unspoken. The Orion 7 trade station faded into the distance, but the flame's strange signal, a rhythmic pulse, lingered like a whisper of something yet to come. "We're clear of the asteroid belt," Jake said, his Texas drawl steady, though his mind churned with questions. "Earth's a few days out? Any chance we can talk about what just happened?" Vera, seated beside him, her ruby skin glistening under the cabin's dim lights, clutched the flame tighter. Her violet eyes met his, a mix of exhaustion and resolve. "The flame bound us, Jake. It's not just a relic, it's changed us, made us part of something new." Jake raised an eyebrow, his hands adjusting the nav controls. "New like what? I'm a wrench turner, not a cosmic family man." Kalia, tinkering at the engineering console, chuckled, her six-fingered hands deftly recalibrating the ship's systems. "You're more than that now, Callahan. The flame's rewriting our DNA, making us compatible with you." Her voice held a teasing edge, but her eyes softened, the flame's warmth amplifying their connection. Mira, tending to Taryn's bandaged arm, spoke up, her voice gentle but firm. "It's true, Jake. The flame's preparing us for a future, one where our species can unite." Taryn, her face set in defiance despite her injury, added, "It's not just biology, it's trust, loyalty. You proved that back there." Jake felt their emotions through the flame's link, Zara's focus, Mira's compassion, Taryn's grit, stirring his own sense of duty. Vera's hand trembled slightly, her voice low. "There's more, Protector. I'm carrying your child, a hybrid born of the flame's power." Jake's jaw dropped, his mind reeling. "A kid? We barely— How?" Vera's lips curved into a faint smile, her regal mask cracking. "The flame doesn't need traditional means. Our bond, sealed in the ritual, was enough." Zara, standing at the tactical station, nodded, her tone matter-of-fact. "The child will bridge our worlds, Jake. A new generation." Jake ran a hand through his hair, processing the bombshell. "Okay, that's a lot. So, I'm going to be a dad to an alien human kid? This wasn't in the job description." Kalia laughed, her eyes glinting with mischief. "Welcome to the galaxy, Callahan. You're stuck with us now." The cabin filled with a brief moment of levity, easing the tension. But Jake felt the flame's pulse quicken, its signal growing stronger, like a beacon calling to somewhere unknown. Zara's wrist comm buzzed, interrupting the moment. She scanned the incoming message, her face hardening. "Earth's military just sent coordinates. They want us to land at a secure facility in Nevada, not a civilian port." Jake frowned, his gut tightening. "Nevada? That's Area 51 territory. Why the secrecy?" Vera's eyes narrowed, her hand tightening on the flame. "They must know about the flame. Its power could change Earth, just as it changed us." Mira, finishing Taryn's bandage, looked up, her voice calm but urgent. "If Earth's military wants the flame, they'll want to study it, maybe weaponize it like Zykar." Jake's mind flashed to the warship's destruction, Zykar's obsession with the crystal's power. "No way we're handing it over," he said, his voice firm. "This thing's caused enough trouble." As the thunderbolt hurtled toward Earth, the flame's signal pulsed faster, its light flickering with purpose. Jake felt Vera's hope tinged with fear through their bond. What did Earth know about the flame, and what was the crystal trying to tell them? The thunderbolt touched down in the Nevada desert under a starlit sky, its engines wheezing as it settled onto a secure landing pad ringed by military drones. Jake Callahan stepped out, his boots crunching on the dry earth, the flame of Orion's. Purple glow pulsing faintly from Queen Vera's pendant. Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn followed, their liquid alloy armor shimmering in the floodlights, their crimson skin stark against the barren landscape. The flame's energy hummed in Jake's mind, carrying Vera's unease and the guard's alertness, a bond that felt stronger with every step on Earth. A squad of soldiers in tactical gear approached, led by a stern-faced colonel named Harris. His voice clipped. "Mr. Callahan, hand over the artifact. It's a matter of national security." Jake's jaw tightened, his Texas drawl sharp. "This crystal's not yours to take, Colonel. It's caused enough trouble already." Vera stepped forward, her violet eyes blazing, the flame glowing brighter. "The flame of Orion belongs to my people and to our protector. It's not a weapon for your wars." Harris's eyes narrowed, but before he could respond, Vera raised the flame, its light surging, projecting a holographic display of energy schematics. Clean, limitless power. The soldiers stepped back, awestruck, as the desert air hummed with potential. "This could power your cities, heal your world," Vera said, her voice steady, regal. "But only if you respect its purpose." Jake felt her resolve through their bond, a fierce determination to protect the flame's true calling. Kalia, ever the techie, nudged Jake, her voice low, teasing. "Told you it's more than a shiny rock, Callahan." She winked, easing the tension, but her hand stayed near her pulse blade, ready for trouble. Zara scanned the soldiers, her tactical mind calculating, while Mira and Taryn flanked Vera, their faces set, ready to defend their queen. Jake caught Harris's gaze, his tone firm. "We're not here to fight, but we're not handing it over. Let's talk this out." Harris hesitated, then nodded, leading them to a high-tech bunker. Beneath the desert, inside, scientists in lab coats swarmed around holodisplays, analyzing data on the flame. A young researcher, Dr. Elena Ruiz, approached, her eyes wide with excitement. "The energy readings are off the charts. It could revolutionize Earth's grid!" Jake grinned, liking her enthusiasm. "That's the idea, Doc, but it's got a mind of its own, trust me." To break the ice, Jake pulled out a deck of cards from his jacket, offering to teach the group poker. "Let's lighten the mood," he said, dealing cards on a metal table. Kalia picked it up fast, her six-fingered hands shuffling like a pro, while Taryn grumbled about Earth's weird games. Vera watched, amused, her regal air softening as she joined in, her laughter a rare sound that warmed Jake's chest. The flame's bond pulsed, their shared joy a fleeting shield against the tension. But the moment shattered when Zara's wristcom buzzed, intercepting a coded Zetherian signal. Her face hardened, her voice low. "Zykar's alive. He sent a distress call before his warship blew, and a Zetherian fleet is en route to Earth." Jake's gut twisted, the flame's hum spiking with Vera's fear. "A fleet? For one crystal?" he asked, his rifle already in hand. Harris overheard, his expression grim. "If they're coming, we need to prepare. That thing's a game-changer." Vera clutched the flame, her voice steady but urgent. "They want more than the flame, Jake. They want to claim Earth as a colony." The bunker's hollow displays flickered, showing distant blips in orbit. Cytherian ships, closing fast. Jake felt the flame's pulse quicken, its signal stronger, as if calling to the approaching fleet. "What's it doing now?" he asked, his eyes locked on Vera's. What did the Zytherians want with Earth, and why was the flame's signal reaching out to them? The Nevada desert night buzzed with tension, the secure military bunker humming with activity, as hollow displays tracked the approaching Zytherian fleet. Jake Callahan stood beside Queen Vera, her ruby skin glowing under the bunker's stark lights, the flame of Orion pulsing in her hands. Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn flanked them, their liquid alloy armor ready, their emotions a steady current in Jake's mind. Resolve, trust, and a growing bond. The flame's signal, a rhythmic pulse, grew stronger, its purple light flickering, as if speaking to the distant ships. Colonel Harris barked orders to his soldiers, prepping defenses, but Jake's focus was on Vera, her face strained, her pregnancy a quiet weight between them. "We can't let those ships land," Jake said, his Texas drawl firm, his pulse rifle slung across his back. "If they're after the flame, they're not getting it." Vera's violet eyes met his, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. "The flame calls to them, Jake. It's not just power. It's a bridge between our worlds." Her hand rested on her abdomen, where their hybrid child grew, a symbol of that bridge. Jake felt her hope through their bond, a flicker of warmth amidst the fear. Kalia, scanning a hollow tablet, looked up, her six-fingered hands quick. "The fleet's holding position in orbit, not attacking yet. They're sending a signal, demanding the flame." Her voice held a mix of curiosity and defiance, her crimson skin catching the light. Zara, ever the tactician, added, "They're waiting for a response. We could use the flame to negotiate, buy time." Taryn, her arm healed, but her eyes fierce, gripped her plasma blade. "Or fight. I'm not letting Zekar's kin take Earth." Before Jake could reply, Vera gasped, clutching the flame as it flared, projecting a vision. A child with ruby skin and Jake's blue eyes, standing on a vibrant world of green and violet. "Our daughter," Vera whispered, her voice trembling. "The flame shows her, our Nova, uniting our people." Jake's heart raced, the image searing into his mind, the bond flooding him with love and responsibility. "Nova," he repeated, testing the name, a grin breaking through. "All right, kid, you're already causing trouble." Months later, in a quiet Texas ranch under a wide, starry sky, Vera gave birth to Nova, a girl with faint ruby skin and Jake's blue eyes, her tiny hands reaching for the flame's glow. The group had settled there, far from the bunker's chaos, after convincing Earth's leaders to study the flame for energy, not weapons. Jake taught Zara, Kalia, Mira, and Taryn the joys of Earth life, grilling burgers, watching football, the hum of crickets at dusk. Kalia took to BBQ like a pro, her teasing quips about primitive Earth cooking, making Jake laugh. Taryn, less impressed, still joined in, her competitive streak shining in pickup games. The flame, now housed in a secure vault in the ranch's barn, pulsed softly, its signal quieter but persistent, a reminder of its unfinished purpose. Jake sat with Vera one evening. Nova cradled between them, the desert breeze cool against their skin. "We did all right, didn't we?" Jake said, his voice soft, the flame's bond weaving their emotions. Vera's pride, the guard's loyalty, his own quiet joy. Vera smiled, her regal air softened. "We've built a family protector, but the flame still calls." Zara, joining them, her armor swapped for a flannel shirt, nodded toward the sky. "Orion 7's up there, and others like Zykar may come. Nova's our future, but the flame's got plans." Mira and Taryn, tending a fire nearby, agreed, their faces lit by the glow, while Kalia tinkered with a drone, muttering about upgrading Earth tech. Jake looked at Nova, her tiny hand gripping his finger, and felt the flame's pulse, steady but expectant. As the stars twinkled above, the flame's signal flickered, a faint beacon reaching beyond Earth. Jake's eyes traced the constellation. Orion, its light a distant echo of their journey. What new adventure was the flame calling them to, and what role would Nova play in the galaxy's future?